Cyberpunk 2077 is a buggy but fun game. Despite all the controversy regarding the launch, and the game is yet unfinished at times, especially the railway system being reduced to fast traveling points. I'm enjoying the game as it is. I'm too busy enjoying the side quests and the atmosphere, especially the many random NPC dialogues and conversations that pop up as you travel from quest to quest to side gig to side mission to side mission. Especially if you take the time and walk through the city instead of driving, then I deal with the main quest line, which is enthralling as a sci-fi RPG. If CD Projekt Red can fix all the bugs of the game and maybe remake the game with additional DLC and quality of life improvements, it will be a timeless classic fitting the Cyberpunk tabletop RPG, which was created by a Black American. No, I'm serious. Google creator of Cyberpunk 2020 and see for yourself. Now, Kotaku reviewer Riley MacLeod, which is the editor-in-chief of Otaku, written this review of Cyberpunk 2077, and half the review does not talk about the game. The first 4 paragraphs describe the controversy the perceived transphobia despite having a well-written transgender character named Claire, which you can read the article from the site Nerd Reactor that is linked in the description below. The fact that the game has been removed from the PlayStation Store entirely, and the feature controversy, which was already been addressed by CD Projekt Red. Now, Riley barely describes the graphics and performance in the game in his review. It just says that it runs okay on his beef-up machine for the game, but he admits he can work around the technical failings and laugh at the bugs. He also does not describe the story well because he written that his V was of a nomad background, and those who would play the game would have played through the fact that V was, as a nomad, came to Night City to smuggle a package across the South Carolina Night City border, only to be caught by the Arasaka military, chased down, eventually escaping, and they both settle into Night City as mercs. He does not describe the gameplay. If he does it barely, but evidently he played as a regular solo build. In the game, there are many ways to accomplish your goals and complete your tasks, such as running through a mission stealthily, using net running skills such as quick hacks, or even a normal run and gun solo build, which really proves the game. It really proves that game journalists don't actually play video games or take the time to explore video games. Well, there are other builds if he would have done the research, but seriously, since game journalists are not into video games at all, they don't do this. Now, I'm going to show you a few quotes that Riley made in his review. I like when he shows up physically, unlike the host of other characters who never stop calling me on the phone. His ham-fisted anti-corporate talk and dreaming of his glory days as a rebel rocker felt pretentious for a long time, but now I just think fondly, whatever, old man, he's more sad than he is cool, but what we've gone through together gives him depth. If this review did his research, he would find out that Cyberpunk 2077 is a direct sequel to the tabletop games Cyberpunk 2020 and Cyberpunk Red. Johnny Silverhand is the main character, and why he's so anti-corporate is that his girlfriend, Alt Cunningham, who was a legendary netrunner, was kidnapped by the Arasaka Corporation for her app Soul Killer, and she got subjected to it and imprisoned in the Soul Prison, Mikoshi. This what drives Johnny to be anti-corporate, and ultimately as a form of revenge against Arasaka, and he wanted to save Alt from the prison. And V is driven to help Johnny in his goal, and at the same time, V has a ticking clock in his head. He has to find a way to rip the relic device from his head before he dies and Johnny takes complete control. Another quote from Riley. Other parts of the game just don't work at all. Cyberpunk narrative departs from its crass sexualization or unnuanced views of race. As cool as its world can be, it's always a little off-putting, because it was a part of its time created in the 1980s. And basically, what CD Projekt Red did was they had the same mentality of the 1980s. Basically, they actually read through the lore and the source material and basically updated the game's atmosphere to 2077. And it's basically what will happen if these same elements are updated in the year 2077. Now, if he actually paid attention, the game also criticizes capitalism, especially neoliberalism, and how it influenced governments. It criticizes corporate rule, and at the same time, it's pro-gun rights, pro-Second Amendment. And the game's also against putting pineapple on pizza. Now, quote from Riley, besides not meeting my hopes of how it would have been great, the game also does not diverge from my fears about how it'll fall short. Its worst parts are sadly what some of its pre-release talking points suggested they be. Regrets about race and gender despite so many opportunities to correct course. A Cyberpunk finale that's made in its most substantial point in how the game itself demonstrates how corporations like the one that made it behave. It's hard to play the game without consistently wondering, why is it like this? What happened during these past 8 years? Because the focus on the game is V being a legend in Night City as a mercenary, not fighting against corporate rule or being a social justice warrior. V, the protagonist, sees Arasaka as an antagonist because of the fact that he's possessed by a digital reincarnation of Johnny Silverhand. The worst thing is that he never says if you should buy the game, rent the game, or wait until the bugs are fixed. And the game is more affordable at a lower price. It's more of an opinion than a non-review. It's more of an opinion than a review. Because it badly was more of an opinion piece than an editorial or actual review. Because that's what game journalists are these days. They want to be journalists who want to really work at New York Times. Newsflash, New York Times is now going to hire you because you opinionate about video games instead of actually focusing on the video game itself.
I'm V.
They don't, and why? They don't do actual journalism, rather journalism. Clickbait garbage.
I see.
There are good reasons why anyone will refuse to score a game or give a recommendation that is relatively incomplete, that the game is relatively incomplete because of bugs or glitches or any serious problems with the game. Making a personal opinion isn't one of them. This is J Kid from the Ministry of Otaku, signing off.